Thank you. I hope I'm audible. Good morning, everyone. It's a great opportunity to be amongst you to share a few thoughts. I can't match Arun on the Varun on the fire and the dressing and the girlfriends, but I can certainly tell you that that's an opportunity that he has given me with a nice segue. He talked about the ecosystem, and I think my presentation is a lot about how this ecosystem is coming together. You know, we know what the challenges are. Prashant elucidated that so well on what the threats are, and the opportunity of putting it together makes us that much more responsible in having to handle all this technology. So if you actually look at what is happening around us, we were talking about a lot of things as trends. Less than 3 years ago, it was AI was the sort of the most important thing, and suddenly came Gen AI, and today we're all talking agentic AI, right? So there is a constant evolution, and we are having to keep pace with what is happening in the industry, right? Think about what's happening, and given the thrust of the morning presentation largely on cybersecurity, I thought we'll start with cybersecurity. The first thing is cybersecurity. What is happening with that? Interestingly, I wanted to share an anecdote with you. I was once moderating a panel in Dubai, where an award winner, an innovation award winner from the king himself, he was there on the panel with us. And he was telling us that, we asked him about what do you envision as the future of cybersecurity. So he said, we started off and said that this is my perimeter, I'm going to stay inside it and I'm safe. And then we said perimeter is not there anymore, we're going to change it, it's all identity. And we said that we will protect ourselves with zero trust. And then came AI and bots and all that was happening, and humans were responding to it and trying to control or trying to anticipate or preempt what was happening. And today he said, generative AI is going to be the bad actor. That's going to be utilized by your bad actors to throw things at you. And what's going to happen on this side? You're going to have generative AI responding to it. So his point was, Gen AI is going to throw something and Gen AI is going to respond, and humans are going to be sitting and watching and orchestrating that from both sides. So that's an interesting situation to be in, but it also tells us how the ability to preempt something, to have the right kind of cyber intelligence, to have them all properly understood, and the responses created or the risk to be mitigated makes it that much more important. And hence, the cyber intelligence dashboards or the threat intelligence platforms are all today real, and we are able to do that real time. Content generation. Earlier, we had to do, first of all, initially we had to do reams and reams of paper reading, and then it became internet surfing, and today we got something that gets created and delivered to us ready. And more importantly, curated topics for person-specific consumption. In fact, I think Prashant also talked about how even the AI responses became very, very specific to the person. So even that is happening today, and go further with customer-specific responses on CRM, marketing technologies. All of them are now evolving with the adoption of AI. And third one, digital workspaces. Today you've got a response assistant for everything, right from meetings management to screening of content to almost doing even the contracting. So this set of things today is real, and many of us today switch on Copilot for our meeting notes to be created while we are having a Teams meeting, or similarly in Zoom meeting, the AI assistant. We are beginning to do all of that. But that brings to the last part, which is what Dr. Sandeep spoke about in detail, which is the ESG reporting automation. So important for us to have sustainability initiatives right at the core. How do we bring sustainability right at the center of all that we do, with so much of e-waste being generated, so much of data to be handled, and what are all the ESG commitments that the organization may have? Today, obviously, it's a boardroom topic. So for that to be a part of the overall schema of things for the company, the Sustainability AI Suite, as well as the route planner, also can be brought about with a little bit more AI influx in delivering a set of suggestions to what the organization can handle. So where does that take us? Let's look at what's also happening in certain sectors. In retail today, there is a 20% waste reduction because of AI-driven forecasting. They're able to predict the consumption better, they're able to understand their customers better, and they're able to bring about the material in lesser time, and are able to manage the wastage far better. And why? It's because the POS equipment is able to directly talk to the AI engine, and it is able to predict the demand. It's able to bring customer-specific demand, and that is integrated with e-commerce, that's obvious. Financial services sector, we all know, I don't know if we would have ever scanned a QR code for all the sigma of the QR codes that we scanned till 2020 is probably something that we do in one day today, or maybe more. Right? The way the digital financial infrastructure has been created in this country, my friends, when they come, we had a school reunion about a couple of months back, and my classmates who were there in the US for more than 30 years, they come back and say, you know what, I had a cup of tea and I was trying to get the money to be paid, and some rickshawala comes and he just scans and walks away. That's the kind of power which they don't even have in the so-called developed countries. So the amount of work that is happening there today with blockchain, with AI influx, and with the digital wallets that are coming about, where the mule accounts that Dr. Deepak spoke about, how are you able to predict maybe the management of your finances and understand how the leakages are happening and what are the bad actors doing? That is becoming an important aspect today, right? In healthcare, I mean, that's a place where revolution is truly happening. And with the AI tools that are available today, the treatment mechanisms have got better. Every once in 2 months or 3 months, you see how a very, very large operation was conducted, or a very, very big diagnosis was happening, only because there were multiple AI tools that came into support for that particular act, right? And also, prosthetics today with the 3D printing, you are able to reduce it from maybe a few weeks to probably a day. That's the kind of speed with which you are even able to deliver prosthetic limbs to people who need them the most. And robots are being involved in surgery to do some part of the mundane tasks. So the amount of AI that is being utilized there is of a very, very high order. And lastly, manufacturing is constantly evolving. There are even SMB organizations which are utilizing IoT sensors to be able to capture the data. The foundation of AI is largely data. And if the data capture does not happen, and if the pattern recognition does not happen on time, obviously we're going to have a challenge. So with the industrial IoT, as well as the automation that is coming about here, it has been found that 20 to 40% of the maintenance costs have come down. So all this to say that sector-specific growth is also happening. But there was a nice visual in one of the McKinsey white papers, and I thought it was relevant for this session. That's why I picked it up as it is, with courtesy to McKinsey. It talks about, very, very interestingly, how the horizontal versus vertical use cases that are using Gen AI, right? At a horizontal level, the employee co-pilots that I talked about, the chatbots that I talked about, which can be applied anywhere. It can be applied in, for example, a HR response mechanism. Any queries that are being there, a payroll query that is there, even in an organization, it can be used today. And at another level, for example, legal queries can also be responded to at a basic level. Customer responses, today in CRMs, there are lots of chatbots that are being employed. So it lends itself to a wide variety of utilization where you want to standardize a certain set of responses. But at the same time, look at the vertical areas where the Gen AI is being utilized. Firstly, you take R&D. There is an idea generator that can be deployed. So this is how the function-specific use case pans out. There is an idea generator which looks at all the research trends, the publications, the data that comes out from those research publications, how it can be applied in this organization, and it generates an idea or a suggestion for this organization to leverage. So that's the research curator that we talked about, where it auto tags. You just have to give some keywords or key strands of information that you're looking for, and you're able to get that. The negotiation assistant in procurement, where you're able to look at vendor management a lot better, suggestions for negotiations, or maybe the next time something happens, it's able to build a predictive mechanism from the previous version, and it is able to tell you what are the precautions that you need to take in your negotiation or in your cost or any other contracting terminologies. Supply risk assessor, so the risk profile of vendors can also be mapped there. And along with that, you can predict a demand based on your customer consumption on your respective suppliers and give them advance notice so that your just-in-time inventory gets that much more perfect. Sales assistant, sales and marketing today, right from the time, there are tools today that are available where a person just touches your website. From the mouse clicks to the amount of time that the person spends on the website, marketing team can pull it out, establish the first contact, communicate with the customer with all the standard content that is there regarding the company, regarding the product portfolio, and regarding the set of offerings and services. And that can be passed on after sufficient filtering to the sales team, which is able to pick that up. And even before they have to do it, they can even be sent, the customer can even be sent an automated response with a profile, and an appointment can be fixed for the salesperson to go. Imagine the amount of time that you can shrink, and imagine the amount of mundane tasks that can be automated and brought intelligently. That's where the agentic AI comes into play, where it is able to individually assess the situation and build a response. And lastly, support assistance for everything. In fact, what is missed here is probably even HR. Today, when a person applies, you can identify with the keywords, the profile, the CV can be profiled and assessed and shortlisted. The shortlisted candidates can also be further contacted, and an appointment can be fixed for them to come for an interview. To that extent, today even HR work can get simplified. So the point I'm trying to make here is the applications are enormous. And I have always maintained that technology doesn't scare me. It is the usage of technology that is scary. How we put it into use, what are all the different mechanisms that we can leverage from it, is what makes me scared at one level, and it also makes all of us together responsible at another level. So the adoption remains complex. The technology is all out there. It's like the stars are all out there, but how do you align them? How do you get them all together in one place? And going back to what Varun said, how does the ecosystem, the power of the ecosystem, manifest itself in what every customer wants to do, or every partner amongst us in this room wants to deliver to our customers? That becomes the single most important question today in the industry. There's a lot of innovation happening out there, but how does it all come to work for you? With all the technology available, there is still a lasting journey that a customer stays on in looking for the right technology which is applicable to them. So there is technology friction. Second, all of us as solution providers to our customers, we also figure out what is the best way for us to deliver this. So there is definitely a technology and an implementation related friction. And thirdly, all of us do not have the right kind of market access at all points of time, and the technology providers also do not have access, to the point that Varun also made earlier about how some of these large players are coming in, but going to the next tier cities and going to the next tier customers is not something that naturally happens. So there is also a market access friction. To be able to bring all these together, that's where we believe we are sitting right at the center. On one side, today the ecosystem, once again, after maybe a couple of decades, it was sometime around the financial bubble that there was an issue. The data center build moved towards cloud. That was the time the momentum started. Similarly, today the ecosystem already wears a fragmented look. Why? Because we are coalescing into the new structure. We are all getting ready for the new world that is ahead of us. So the ecosystem is a little fragmented at this stage. There are underserved regions. There is underserved digital infrastructure in various parts of the customer landscape. And the readiness of the market is not uniform across the board. So what we at Redington are trying to do is to recreate the magic. And we as a distributor today, you might be thinking, what is a distributor standing here today and trying to tell us about the technology? What we believe is, we have to first understand and comprehend the changes that are happening ahead of us and around us. And how do we prepare ourselves, and how do we help in creating this ecosystem that can collectively deliver the power of the technology to come to use, so that we bring availability, second, we deliver the accessibility, and we help in the usability of that technology for our customers powerfully. That's the intent with which we are trying to make this difference here. And what do we bring to the table? From a customer point of view, there's a large legacy. There's a three-decade plus kind of a legacy that we've got as a responsible organization. We've got a geographical presence, the implementation related support, the technology support that we can provide, the secure and compliant solutions, and the cost optimized delivery that we would be able to bring for our customers. At the same time, to the channel partner, the power of the ecosystem, bringing all of it together, enabling the market access, and providing the technology and the tools, and delivering the extended technology desk to the partners is another important aspect that we deliver. And the best example that I can give today is how we are trying to convert the vision to value in terms of AI. We have created an AI practice within Redington, and that's a part of my portfolio. What we are trying to do is to look at all this, the revolution that's happening around us, pick certain specific use cases, look for the right kind of solutions that are available in the market, and try and bring them as a bouquet of offerings with us. For example, I talked about a few of them. There is knowledge search, left top. Bottom left, ask legal. Then you have Ask HR. And then government departments querying on consumers. And then agents for service desk. So you find that all of these are those that we saw in some of the earlier slides, and we have built some solutions. We have tied up with certain providers who are able to deliver all these things. Next, you look at digital journey via WhatsApp. We are working very closely with the likes of Meta, with Microsoft, with the others. There are lots of organizations today which are doing everything from managing your money bags right up to managing customers in different forms and doing business through WhatsApp. All of us, whenever we visit a retail outlet or whenever we visit a website, we leave our telephone number there. The next day you get a sort of promotion message on WhatsApp. A lot of development is happening on that area, and managing the digital journey, we've got certain ISVs who have developed these kind of solutions. And Prashant is not here. Prashant talked about deepfakes. There is an organization, there is a solution that is available for deepfake detection. So that helps in security and compliance. It's an AI-powered system. So these are just samples. This is all work in progress. As we speak, this is changing. But I wanted to bring a few sample cases here to tell you that if your customer, if as a partner here, your customer is looking for a solution of this kind, or if you as an end customer is looking for a solution on this kind, what we are trying to do is to build curated set of these kind of offerings which are relevant, useful, and applicable to the market. So maybe when you have such a requirement, the right place to do is to call a Redington representative. What we are hence doing is, you all know, all of you know that this kind of a space right at the bottom here is something that we've always been present in. That's the core strength in being able to provide the technology to all the end customers. But to build the AI use cases from that, looking at the use cases that the ISV players are today developing and being able to deliver that and bring the market reach so that, think about it, at one side, there's a lot of technology that is growing. Technology has always existed. But today, it is in such diverse forms of innovation that we are trying to bring an understanding which comes from market knowledge, which comes from customer engagements, the kind of feedback that the customers give us. Using that, we scout for these kind of solutions. We try and build the portfolio, and we sort of are trying to be the fountainhead from where all this technology can be channelized and be made relevant to all our customers. That's the kind of journey we are on. We are reinventing and reimagining ourselves in this continuum. That's how, if you look at what are we doing with bringing the power of AI to our customers, that's in short what we are trying to do. AI for customer service, for application modernization, HR, finance, IT operations, and marketing. We are trying to bring all of them applicable to different types of industries and bringing our core strengths into play, where right from platforms to the software applications to the middleware, and Varun is back at the right time. We are trying to build and bring the power of the ecosystem to be able to make the right kind of outcomes to happen. So just another point, technology has always existed and will always exist. You throw some warm bodies at a technology, you can get a functionality. But all of us realize today that functionality is not what we want. What we want, and I think Varun again mentioned that, what we want is not just plain functionality, we need outcomes. For outcomes to happen, a functionality needs to be gelled with intelligence. And that intelligence can be either human intelligence or artificial intelligence. So the functionality can always happen with the right kind of technology available. So we are bringing the power of that technology, putting the right kind of intelligence, getting the power of AI to work for our customers, as well as getting the right kind of human intelligence backing that. And the objective is to deliver that outcome. For that, we have divided ourselves into so many different business groups. All of them together, the one objective, like I said, is to be the fountainhead of technology to deliver the power to the customers. And lastly, on a lighter note, from WhatsApp University, I got this statement: no amount of artificial intelligence can substitute natural stupidity. Thank you for the opportunity.